All right, we're back after the break here, ready to go. Babe is all decked out in his Miami uniform, and he's set to play again. This is the Babe in the Matrix series where we take Babe Ruth from 1927 and we import him into the game. And you do that by going to your free agent screen, and you have to be in commish mode to do this. But you go in and you import your historical player. You go to the historical database, and then you go in and type in the last five letters, or actually the first five letters of the last name. So if the last name was Johnson, put that in. If the first name was Tim, you put in the first two letters of the first name and then 01. And then you have to know the years that that player played, and you pick the year that you want to import them in from in OOTP. So I would put Ruth, BA 01, 1927. You click import player, and that brings them into the game. So there Babe Ruth is right here. So once they are imported into the game, you go to the actions menu or to the editor menu. You scroll down to team information. You pick the major leagues and you pick the team you want him on. And alphabetically, it's his turn to play with Miami. You always want to set your team to Miami just so it doesn't default to Baltimore. So you go in and you select Miami. And now every time we click on one of the menus, it will show the Miami home screen. So Babe Ruth, as he tends to play, is playing in the 3 slot. He's got some good player. Luis Arez, we got Segura, we've got Chisholm Jr., Gurriel, Wendell, Forte, Garcia, Iglesias. So he's got a decent team surrounding him. I like the fact that Louis Array might get on base quite a bit. Segura may get on base a bit, so his RBI totals kind of might be interesting. But the key is that he is playing in a ballpark not very favorable to his hitting. So those of you that guessed high on the home runs, you're going to have to hope that he overcomes the ballpark. Okay, got to go close off that form so we don't get entries after the fact. So if you are still filling it out, you should be done by now. You should be done. Give you 10 seconds. We got 35 responses so far for Babe in the Matrix in Miami. Tequila. Dun, da, 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 da. Yeah, I remember that song well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Their responses are done. Let me create the sheet right now that my good friend and fellow educator D. Dempsey taught me how to do. Because I was a mess for a while. Questions. Let's find out what we have for our kind of an overall look. So some of you are still thinking, 12 of you still think he's going to hit over 50. Wow. Seriously, 5 of you think he's going to break his record of 60 or more in Miami? Wow, that'll be a shock if that happens. And 15 of you are thinking that he's going to hit kind of where the ballpark would suit. I think this ballpark, on paper, he probably is good for 40 to 49. Wouldn't shock me if he hit between 30 and 39. If injuries come into play, obviously that's going to lower it. And curious for MVP, it's split down the middle, almost 50-50 if he wins the NL MVP. Okay, contest is closed. Let me double check that. Yep, contest is closed. Let's get on the Babe in the Matrix. Those of you that are watching this on VOD, those of you that may be tuning in on my YouTube channel, welcome to the next Babe in the Matrix episode. This is Babe in Miami in the hot weather, sweltering heat in Miami, Florida. And he is playing in an attempt to break his 60 home run personal record. So, as we always do, we play out the first game, and he's playing the Mets. These are the April 1st rosters. So these are the actual rosters from April 1st, OOTP. And again, if the game crashes at any point, we restart. So anything that he has done up till that point, we've lost. But knock on wood, we've been good so far. Okay, as the game loads up, we are in New York, Lone Depot Park. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. Lone Depot Park. Babe Ruth hit. I guess we're in. Are we in New York or Miami? I can't remember now. Looks like we might be in New York. No, we're in Miami. Lone Depot Park in Miami. All right, we try to play out Babe's at bat. So right now he's in the field, in left field, looking very, very professional. First at bat, Luis Rez grounds out, and first out of the game, Juan Segura comes to the plate. Juan pounds one into right field. Wow, this ballpark. I don't think I've ever played in this ballpark before. It's weird. I'm used to Perfect Park and all the replays there. All right, Babes, first at bat. What do you guys think in chat? Call it. Call your shot here. Single, double, triple, home run, strikeout, walk, fly out. Come on, show that you know your OOTP. The Block Dragon's going for all. He's calling the home run. We got a single by Pops. We got a K by the Rex. D. Dempsey saying he's going to get hit by a pitch. Carlos Carrasco on the mound. Single to left. Okay, let's find out. I'm calling a walk. Let's see. 3-2 count. And it is a ground out to second base. So Babe's debut, not very successful. Let's go ahead. Half inning by half inning. We are in the bottom of the third. Will Babe get up? He might. We better play it out because if Miami gets a few base runners. Oh, what a catch. I'm thinking that's a 4-star catch. Let's see. It is a 4-star catch by the right fielder. Jacob Stallings, the number 9 hitter, up for Miami. He looks like he's going to poke one into the gap. Not deep enough to go to the wall, but he's trying for second and slides in safe with a double. Back to the top of the order, Luis Reyes grounds out to third. That'll keep the runner at second, and we have 2 away. Juan Segura, can he get on base? He takes a walk. Okay, 2 on, 2 out. Babe with his second at bat. Babe's got the sunglasses on. It's hot in Miami. Here comes the pitch, 2-1 count. He pounds that one into left field. That's going to go to the wall. Babe, not known for his doubles and triples, hustling around second base, and he stays. We have a 2 RBI double by Babe Ruth. He's heating up in Miami. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th. I don't think Babe will get up. We go to the bottom of 5. Jacob Stallings at the plate. 5-2 for the Mets. The Mets are having their way with Miami. Stallings with the out. Back to the top of the order. Luis pops out to a foul territory. Juan Segura walked up last at bat. Hard hit fly ball to left field. That will do it for the Marlins in the 5th inning. We go to the bottom of 6. Babe Ruth at the plate. A ground out, a double, 2 RBIs. 2-2 count. And just like he did in the first inning, a ground out to second base. All right, let's go to bottom of 7. It is still 5-2. Let's head to the 8th inning. 5-2 Mets. Time running out, but Jacob Stallings having quite the game. This one just inside the foul line goes to the wall, and Stallings with his second double of the game. That's going to bring up the top of the order, and Luis Perez, he flies out, and that is going to drop in front of the right fielder. Stallings stops at third. Luis at first, Juan Segura at the plate, an 0-1 count, and this one is going to go to the wall, folks. This one hits the top of the wall, 2 feet away from a home run. That is going to drive in a couple runs, and we have actually just one run. Luis stayed at third base. Well, we've got a moment, folks. I call this a moment, a Babe moment. 2 on, nobody out, down by 2 runs. 1-2 count to the Babe, and he takes it just in the strike zone. He's not too happy. He's not too happy. He gives the ump a look as he walks back to the dugout that looked a little bit low, and we know Babe has a good eye. All right, well, let's go to the 9th inning. Let's see if Miami did anything in the bottom of the 8th. They did. It is a 6-5 game. Miami scored another 3 runs. Well, is that going to be the game? Yes, it is. All right, 6-5 victory in Babe's debut. He goes 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, 1 strikeout, leaving a couple on base. And Carlos Carrasco took a no decision, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. He is our player of the game for the losing New York Mets. Okay, let's sim a month. And for those that don't play the base game and are new to OOTP, when you sim a long period of time, it typically brings this screen up here where you can see the leaderboards on both sides, AL on the left, NL on the right. And of course, we're looking for Babe Ruth on the right side of the screen. So far, not seeing him anywhere. Again, don't forget TJ Lauerman on tonight. You can get your 5 packs from OOTP Developments. And tomorrow, we've got Dr. Dynastic back with, hopefully, I think, a guest again. Last week, he had Kevin Stalker on for an interview. And tonight, we also have Yukarin. We have Ezra. We've got the EMLB and their spring training. So lots of OOTP. There is wall-to-wall OOTP coverage. We should get our teaser for the new set coming out, hopefully tomorrow, so that EVC has some time to prep Guess the Set contest on Wednesday. All right, let's take a look. How is the team doing, first of all? Miami, are you in a playoff position? Babe has not won a World Series yet in this venture in OOTP. Where is in the East? 13-16. Miami not having a good start. Babe Ruth, 5 home runs. On the pace for 28. I told you that ballpark is going to handcuff him. The good news is, if he hits under 30, everyone moves on to question 2, because no one will have got it right. No one picked under 30 home runs. I'm still thinking, I'm going to guess like 40 or 41. I think he's going to make a move here soon, but he's only got 5 so far. All right, let's sim ahead to the next one. Boiled Egg, huge shout out, Boiled Egg. Thank you so much for the gifting of the sub to Red Sixer Fan. Red Sixer Fan has been a big supporter of all the affiliates and of OOTP. Someone that I think has come on new to the scene playing OOTP and has given a lot of support in the chat to many of the affiliates. So very kind of you, boiled egg, to do that. Thank you so much for the gift of this subscription and for helping out in building our theme team. All right, we are now at the end of May. Big month for Babe or a dud? We will find out shortly. Miami currently is in, well, they jumped above Washington. 25 and 31, still way, way back there, 11 and a half game backs of the Brave. They're in, of course, in the tough division with the Braves, the Phillies, the Mets. Very, very tough for them to make the playoffs. I thought maybe Babe might make a difference, but apparently not. 12 home runs. Okay. Those of you that chose 30 to 39, he's back on pace. He's at the 35 home run pace right now. Let's take a look at the National League leaderboard. Do we see any beautiful Babe pitchers? Pictures, not pitchers. We see a couple leading in OPS plus like he usually does, and in sac flies. A little bit surprising there that he's leading in sacrifice flies. But again, it's Miami. The ball just can't travel far enough to get out for him. Home run suppression for the lefty batters. All right, we're going to sim up to the All-Star break, and we're going to transition over to one of my favorite parts of the Tuesday stream, which is this day in baseball history. I'm a teacher. I want to educate you guys. I've made up some cool slides. So I hope you're still watching. Hope you put some things in chat about these players or about these cards. All right. As we wait for the game to sim, this day in baseball history, 1877. You got the clap? You got the clap card? Hey, do ya? What are you thinking about? It's clap. It's the card. Yeah. How many of our students on their way home from school played Pink Floyd or Alice Cooper? All right, on this day in 1877, John Clapp unfortunately had his cheek smashed by a foul tip. His replacement, Mike Dorgan, would come in wearing a mask. And this is believed to be the first use of a catcher's mask in an official National League game. You know, if I were a betting man, I would have thought it happened a lot later. This was over 120, 140, 150 almost years ago. I know in hockey, it wasn't until like the 1950s that Jacques Plante put on a hockey goalie mask. So I would have guessed like maybe in the 30s or 40s, but yeah, back in 1877, we had Mike Dorgan come in. John Clapp does have a card in OOTP, a 65 rated bronze card. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is one of the cards that just came out yesterday. If I remember correctly, the Clap came out yesterday. All right. On this day back in 1890, 133 years ago, one of my favorite iron cards, one of your favorite iron cards, Cobra, I'm talking about you. You love this card. You've used this card. He's one must-have card for iron tournaments, Jimmy Ryan. On this day in 1890, Jimmy Ryan leads the way to an 18-4 victory. Ryan's going to steal 4 bases and hit a home run. Dominant back then in this game and dominant in iron. I don't know what his steal and base running slider or ratings are, but hopefully pretty high. Oh, D. Dempsey is at first day back to work tomorrow. Oh, man. High five, D. Dempsey. Go educate those kids. Teachers, like I said, I've been one. It can be rough sometimes, but ultimately, you want to do your best in educating those kids. And I don't know if math teachers are comical in the classroom. I don't know if you crack jokes, but uh, that's what kids will remember. D Dempsey. They'll remember the teachers that can have some fun in the classroom. And they won't remember the trigonometry you teach them so much. They won't remember the square root of 753, if there is one, but they'll remember you, your personality, and some of the fun that you have in the classroom. It's a fine line between having fun and being the professional. Hopefully you can have some fun. Oh, you got to drive yours to university? Well, just be thankful you don't have to sit in the classes. On this day in 1903, 120 years ago, a player named Joe McGinty, sounds like a good Irish name, Joe McGinty, he won both ends of a doubleheader back in the day when a pitcher could pitch and pitch and pitch and could pitch two games in one day. Whereas today, they got a little blister and they're out for a week. These guys put me in, coach. Both games of a doubleheader, he would win, Joe McGinty, and he has a 57 rated iron card. It's a card I've used in iron tournaments. I think other cards have replaced him now, but at one point he was one of the better iron pitchers. Well deserved Joe McGinty dead ball pitcher from 1903. Hey, escape velocity. Not sure why it didn't work. Well, thank you for the attempt at coming in. I know you do some Miami things with your stream and some Yankee things with your stream. So synchronicity because we're playing Babe Ruth as a Miami Marlin in 2023. So welcome all in and thanks for the attempt to bring in people with the raid. Only Canadians. Only Canadians are allowed. I've built a virtual wall between America and Canada in terms of raids. No, absolutely not. Thanks for the effort. All right. Did you know that this player, did you know? I meant to ask you this as a trivia question, but I forgot. Did you know that this player is the only player in the 20th century to have three triple games in his career? So one game, three triples, and did it twice. Getting one triple is hard enough. Getting two is fantastic. Getting three in the same game, I don't know what his speed and base running ability is, but he's got two cards. One is a 59 iron, one is a newer 87 gold. Haven't used the gold card yet. I think it just came out yesterday, but quite the feat. So, yeah, featuring him today, August 8th, 1905, celebrating the only player in the 20th century. I would have figured Ricky Henderson or Ron LaFleur or Willie McGee, maybe even Ozzie Smith, that some of those players would have reached that feat. Sentence by sentence, hero driver, one word at a time. Yeah, Evan Gaddis this century, but yeah, in the 20th century, only him. New card. We got a Tris speaker, folks. I thought it might be a diamond, but we do have one Tris speaker in the game, an 80 rated card that came out yesterday. This card, I believe, from Cleveland, but the fact, this day in history, 1914, a month and a half after World War I starts. So World War I is starting to get kicked off in Europe. And on this day, Tris Speaker records an unassisted double play, his second of the season, which, isn't really a big deal now. Unassisted double play. You catch the ball and step on the base, I would think. That's how you get your double plays. But maybe it was a bigger deal back then. On this day, 103 years ago, here's a little shorter one for you, Hero Driver. And I even found a picture with the player and Babe in the picture. In the picture. My Canadian accent. In the picture. On this day, 1920, Emke would pitch the shortest game ever. Did you realize that the shortest game ever was a 1-0 defeat of the New York Yankees? 1 hour and 13 minutes. I don't know more facts about this. I don't know if it was a rainout or if it was called for other reasons or if it was just a very quick 9-inning game. I don't know. I don't have the box score. But with no outs and 2 on in the 5th inning, the Yankees failed to capitalize as Ping Bodie, who's in the picture there, falls for the hidden ball trick that Ralph Young did. There is no Ralph Young card. There is no Emke card, but there is a Babe Ruth card. And no Ping Bodie. I thought for sure there was a Ping Bodie card, but I might be thinking of last year's version of the game. So there you go, OOTP, Emke, Ralph Young, Ping Bodie in the game at some point, hopefully in the future. Emke had a date after the game. What? Could you imagine? Like way before we had pitch clocks, like just boom, 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 boom. I'm guessing it would be a 9-inning game, 1 hour and 13 minutes. Next up on this day, 102 years ago, 1921, the Babe Ruth tournament card is a 1921 card. But on this day, kind of an interesting fun fact. St. Louis Brown rookie Luke Stewart would hit a home run in his first at bat. He's the first American League rookie ever to do that. First at bat, he hits a home run. It's the 9th inning, and it comes off of Walter Johnson. You're going to hit a home run. What a guy to hit it off of. Stewart, who appeared in one game on July 28th but did not bat, will play one more game in the majors. So that was his only hit in the majors. It was his first hit. He only played a couple games. The next AL rookie to connect for a homer on his first at bat is Earl Averill in 1929. So I guess if you're going to leave the league, you leave it on a good note. Hey, my first at bat, I got a home run. Oh, yeah. Who was it against? Some weak pitcher? No, it was on Walter Johnson. Couple more to go. There is the Babe Ruth tournament card. On this day in 1924, Babe hit a couple home runs, his 37th and 38th. He had a triple, he had a couple walks, but the Yankees still fell to Cleveland 10-8. So Babe Ruth, even on his best days, not necessarily gaining a win for the team. And that's kind of what's happening in Miami. Not really pushing them forward. All right, Hack Wilson. Hack Wilson has 2 cards in the game, a 57 iron and 80 gold. He is a masher for sure. The Dodger card, the Chicago Cubs card that you see on the screen. On this day in 1925, the second place Giants make a couple deals. Now, this is kind of a fun fact too. So the Giants make a couple deals to aid their pennant race. So Hack Wilson goes to Toledo for Earl Webb and Freddie Fitzsimmons. They call him, I guess, Fat Freddie. Fat Freddie will be a fine addition, but Webb will soon be back in the minors. Wilson is sent to Toledo for seasoning, but he'll be left unprotected by the Giants front office. And the Cubs will swoop in and take Hack Wilson. Oh, someone got fired in the front office. Someone had a boo-boo. So you trade and get Hack Wilson. You send him down for some seasoning. You forget to protect him. You don't protect him. And Chicago is the winner there, picking him up. Last one before we get back to the game. On this day in 1941, Les Brown and his orchestra record the song Joltin' Joe. for Columbia Records. Now, this one's for EBC because he does have a song theme team. So, because we did my theme team today, I thought this was a fun fact. On this day, 82 years ago, Joltin' Joe is recorded. The song about Joe DiMaggio, of course, and his hitting streak will be played incessantly on the radio and eventually reach number 12 on the charts. Joe DiMaggio, 81 rated gold card and a 94 Mission Edition diamond card. There are your fun facts for this day in history as we head back to Babe in Miami. We are now at the All-Star break. Let's take a quick peek. Did Babe Ruth make the All-Star? I believe he's made every All-Star game except for one. And the one he didn't make, I think, was in Arizona. It might have been the very first episode. So if we look at the National League, Chris Bryant, Juan Soto, Michael Harris II, and JD Martinez are kind of the outfield DH starters. But let's see if he's on the bench. Yes, he is. So Babe Ruth will be on the bench for the All-Stars. We're just going to sim it through quickly. We're not going to go inning by inning. Just going to check out if Babe Ruth has any All-Star appearances today, All-Star at bats. Let's go the entire game. And it is a 5-4 victory for Babe Ruth's National League. Babe will come in as a pinch hitter for Jeff McNeil. One at bat, but he had a couple walks. So I guess he had a couple at bats. Yeah, one at bat with two walks, one strikeout. So he must have come up more. That's a little bit weird. How do you have someone explain this to me? How do you have one at bat? That means he had three at bats, right? Because two aren't counted at bats. So he would go 1 for 3. No, 1 for 1. No, 0 for 1. Yeah, he'd go 0 for 1 with two walks. Okay. So he got into the game pretty early. And they won in the 10th inning. So congratulations, Babe. Let's go and check out how his team is doing. We're at the All-Star break right now. Miami currently is sitting in the East Division. They're doing well in the last 10, but I don't think they're going to be in the race. Let's check the wild card. Miami right now is not even on the first page. They are 5 games back. Okay, they got a shot. You're saying we have a chance. Yes, I am. Babe, you have a chance. Stats wise, about halfway through the season, 16 home runs, on pace for 28, folks. 28. He may not get to 30, which was the lowest predicted, which means everyone goes on to question number 2. Okay, let's sim to the end of the month. Those of you that predicted 30 to 39, you are in pretty good shape. As long as Babe kind of picks it up a little bit, you're sitting pretty. On the leaderboard on the right-hand side, Babe Ruth is third in on-base plus slugging, and that's it. Kyle Schwarber leads the league in home runs with 28. In the NL and in the AL, Mike Trout is having a season. 37 home runs for Mike Trout. Jordan Alvarez has 35. In fact, 3 people have more home runs in the AL than anyone in the NL. AL dominating in the home runs this year. All right, we are now at the end of July, I believe. Check out the playoff standings here, see if Miami has made any grounds. They were 5 games back of a wild card, and now they are 6. So still hanging in there. They're not going to win the NL East. Atlanta is running away with it. How is Babe home run pace doing? He is currently on pace for 30. 30. Go back to my sheet here. How many people predicted 30 or more? Or 30 to 39. We have three people. This could be a very quick contest. Three people predicted between 30 and 39. So everyone else is hoping that Babe doesn't hit the 30 home run mark. Okay, let's go to the beginning of September. And ESC ESCV, it does show me on my screen that the raid did come in. So I think the raid did come in. It just didn't make any kind of announcement when the point happened, but something popped up shortly a minute ago that says, yeah, you raided in. So I call it a Twitch glitch. So thank you for coming in and raiding in. Good to see you, D King 395. D King and I were in the finals of the dead ball quick last night. So last night I figured, yeah, let's enter another quick. I kind of like that era. So I got in and I noticed D King was in there. We were on the opposite side of the brackets. He made his way to the finals. I made my way to the finals. And D King, honestly, I know I won the first game. I didn't check the second game. It was a best of three. I know I've had your number off screen. I tend to win the ones off screen. You have my number a little bit more on screen. So, yeah, I was too busy getting set up. I didn't check the final result. It was a sweep, was it? Woohoo! I mean, I'm sorry, D King. I'm sorry. I'm Canadian. I have to apologize. I'm sorry. Babe Ruth, we're at the end of August on pace for 31. Okay. Those three people are biting their fingernails. They're scratching their styrofoam. They are up in their seats, wondering, can he hang on? Babe Ruth has 4 stolen bases on the season. He hasn't been caught yet. 297 average, 109 walks, and 105 strikeouts. That's kind of normal. It's kind of what you get with Babe. Walk per strikeout, 90 RBIs, and 132 hits. So definitely this is going to be his worst season. He is going to shatter that season that he had in Arizona, I think, unless he has a really good September. All right, let's sim ahead a week. He is now at 28 home runs. Okay. 90% of entrants are saying, Babe, get injured, please. No more home runs. And 3 people are hoping for at least 3 more. Okay, let's check it out. He has hit 30. He is having a really good start to his September. So sorry, it looks like the majority of contestants are going to be eliminated. 2 home runs against Washington, 1 against the Dodgers, another one against the Dodgers. So unless he hits 10 more, which is not out of the question, we look at the schedule. Got quite a few games left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 20 games left. So he needs one every 2 games. He needs a home run. Anyone can do it. Mike Trout can, leading the league in home runs. Let's take a look at our leaderboard quickly. In the National League, Babe Ruth is not in the top 5 for National League home runs. Yeah, it's the ballpark. It's got a good slugging percentage, good on base percentage. Number 1 in RBIs, he's got 102 of them. But that ballpark is just nerfing him. All right, let's go ahead 1 more week. Vegasaurus hoping for 10. Hero Drivers hoping he can hit 20. Well, if he hits 1 home run every game, that would be the biggest OOTP moment of my career. I don't think it's going to happen. Let's check out the NL wildcard. Can he propel him to a wild card? 1.5 games back. Miami is less than 2 games out of making the playoffs with 3 weeks in the season to go. Babe is sitting at 31 home runs. He's stuck. Sorry for those that picked 40 or more. I don't think I'm 90% sure it's not going to happen. All right, let's sim ahead another week. Miami still in the playoff chase. They got to catch the Mets, though. 1.5 behind the Mets. 2.5 now. 1 game behind the Mets. With 1 week to go in the season, can we encourage Babe to get in? They're not eliminated yet. They're over 500. One game out. 1 game from making the playoffs. Who do they gotta pass? The Cubs? 1 game back of the Cubs and 1 game back of the Mets. Well, let's hope they pass the Mets. Do they play the Cubs or the Mets on the schedule? Yes, they have a 3-game series coming up against New York. They need to win at least 2 of those 3, and then they take on the 71 and 85 Pirates. They've got a favorable schedule. It is in their hands. They've got to beat the Mets. Babe Ruth is at 33 home runs. Yeah, he's pretty much decided he's shutting it down until the playoffs. His focus is on a playoff run. All right, let's go. Let's find out if they can make their way into the playoffs. Game 1 against New York is a 6-3 loss. All right, these are must wins now. They must win both these games against the Mets. First game, second game, a 5-3 victory. The most important game of the season is always the next one. And here it is. What is it? A 2-1 loss. Ooh, let's check out the standings. 2-1 loss. Wild card race. They're 2 games back, 3 to play against Pittsburgh. They got to hope for the Mets and or the Brewers to lose all 3 games. Will they make the playoffs? Will Babe score 8 more home runs? We'll find out. Last break of the stream coming up here, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes and find out who our winner is. All right, so we're back to finish off the stream. A little bit of dancing music for D. Dempsey as he goes back into the classroom tomorrow. Pump him up, pump him up. Although I'm sure Cobra would have other music to get someone pumped up with. Probably something from the 70s, I'm guessing, that Cobra would be playing. And speaking of Cobra and his favorite team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, Babe, 3 games left. They've got to win all 3. The Mets are playing a 3-game series against Philadelphia. They need to lose at least 2 of the 3, I would think. So let's check out. It could be game over right here if they lose and they win 9-4. So we got to check out how did the Mets do? The Mets lost. So both the Cubs and the Marlins are now within 1 game. This is getting exciting. The Cubs are playing Milwaukee. So Cubs against Milwaukee, Phillies are playing the Mets. Man, this if you're a fan of Babe Ruth and you want to see him make the playoffs, this is exciting. Let's go to the next game. And it is It's not a must win because if the Mets lose, they still have the final game to try and make up. So let's go. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh starting Luzardo, who's 11-13. And our score is, of course, suspense as OOTP needs to save the file at the end of the month. I'm calling a 4-1 loss. I just think OOTP is not going to let Babe in the playoffs. They're suppressing him. They don't want Miami to do well. Small market team. Yep, they lost a 9-3 loss. So let's see if that last game will make any difference. Miami has been eliminated as the New York Mets win. Chicago Cubs, though, are still, they have a chance. Let's find out the last game of the season. Will it be a game 163 between the Cubs and the Mets? And it will. It will. Cubs, Mets, Brewers, all tied for the wild card. Marlins finished 2 games back. Ah, babe. Close. So close. All right. Well, let's go to the playoffs. Let's go ahead to the playoffs. Find out if the Cubs get in, the Mets, the Brewers, and yeah, then we'll see if Babe has a shot at the. Does he have a shot at the MVP? I don't know. Okay, let's go to the playoff tree. Well, the Cubs did get in. The Cubs and the Mets, the Brewers were the odd team out. So it's going to be St. Louis, Chicago, San Diego, and the Mets. Boston against the Astros, and Cleveland taking on the Angels, who sim well in this game. The Angels and Astros sim well, the Cardinals sim well, and the Braves and Dodgers sim well. So we'll see. Let's go to the end of this round. Babe, 2 games away from making the playoffs with Miami. So we've got the Red Sox and the Angels advance, San Diego and the Cardinals advance. Let's go ahead, one more round. Let's find out who our final 4 are. Dodgers sweep the Cardinals. And in the other series, pretty close. The Rays beat the Sox. Angels in 5 games, and the Braves, the favored Braves, in 5 games. So we've got one wild card team from the AL making it to the final 4, and both favorites from the NL advance. Who you guys calling? Come on, call your shot here. Nothing on the line, just your own brilliant bragging rights. Who's going to take this World Series? Angels, Rays, Dodgers, or Braves? Call your. Who do you think's going to win? Who will win? I'm going to call the Dodgers. Dodgers to win. Of course, our Floridian calling the Rays. Braves highest rated in OOTP. Got a couple Braves. Hotlanta going to game 7 with the Dodgers and Atlanta. And let's just take a look at that game 7. What happened in game 7? 7-2 in game 5 for the Angels. So they took care of, or the Rays took care of Los Angeles pretty easily. And 10-2. So the Braves were down 3 games to 2, and then they won 4-3. How close was that game? 10 innings. So back on home turf, the Braves won an extra inning affair, and then they won 10-2 to advance to the World Series. All right. Braves, Rays. Atlanta versus D King. Atlanta with a 2-0 lead as we head to Tampa Bay 3-0, and the Rays just couldn't do it. 4-0. Atlanta takes it fairly easily. Let's take a quick peek at the game scores. Let's see if it was closer than the scoreboard made it appear to be here. Because when I see 4-0, I see destroyed as the game works its way, chugs its way onto the next screen. Again, guys, if you're tuning in, you don't know the schedule for OOTP. Tonight we have a couple affiliates coming on. I'm going to be ending in about 5 minutes, so we will have a couple affiliates streaming. You current at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern is TJ with the official channel, and then at 10:30 Eastern is Ezra with his San Francisco Giants. 8-3, 7-3, 11-2. Well, Rays, you had a good last game going 15 innings. 15 innings. Tied it up in the 11th, and then Atlanta nailed it down in the 15th inning. All right, last thing we have to do is sim ahead to the most valuable awards. Not a good chance that Babe's going to get it. Again, I blame the ballpark. And I don't think next week the ballpark is going to benefit him much more. I think he goes to Milwaukee. What kind of park does Milwaukee have, chat? Is it a hitter's park or a pitcher's park? Playing with the Brew Crew. I believe that's next up alphabetically. All right, as we do with every week in this series, we go and look at the award winners. First of all, in the AL, congratulations, Mike Trout winning his fourth MVP. 132 RBIs. He had 59 home runs, kind of mocking Babe Ruth there, and 9.1 WAR. Our Cy Young winner, his first of his career, Drew Rasmussen, with the Cy Young 22-5 for the Atlanta Rays, Tampa Bay Rays, 294 ERA, 5.2 WAR. Quite the season. Gunnar Henderson with the Baltimore Orioles is your rookie of the year. 22-year-old had 176 strikeouts, but he did record 160 hits and had a 263 average. But yeah, he liked to strike out. And Emmanuel Clase, his second reliever of the year award, coming up with 48 saves for Cleveland and a 148, well deserving of the save of the year, or the reliever of the year. In the NL, moment of truth, is it Babe? No, I'm going to call Juan Soto. And it is Juan Soto with his first MVP with the San Diego Padres. He knocked in 37 home runs, 90 RBIs. So Babe Ruth, home run wise, RBI wise, was comparable. 7.8 WAR for Juan Soto, but played on a team that went to the playoffs. Clayton Kershaw, his fourth Cy Young Award, 19-8 record, 2.99 ERA. Rookie of the Year goes to the Cardinals' Jordan Walker, who had a fantastic season. He hit as many home runs as Babe Ruth and 100 RBIs. 4.9 WAR, well-deserved Mr. Walker, Rookie of the Year. And Josh Hader, who I think every sim is the reliever of the year in the NL, with a 5-6 record, 42 saves, 2.32 ERA, and a 2.8 WAR. All right, we got to go back and check out Babe's final stats here. I got to write them down because we have three people in the running. 35 home runs, 115 RBIs. He had 164 hits and 101 runs. Tiebreaker question, no on the MVP. 128 walks, 6.6 WAR. Now, I'm curious where he finished in MVP voting. Nowhere. This is what playing in Miami gets you guys. No accomplishments other than his all-star game selection. Don't play in Miami. If you're a power hitter, consider going somewhere else. He hasn't even re-signed in Miami yet. He's probably going to hit the free agent market. Babe, sorry, babe. Was hoping for better. All right, let me save that game. Had a 1-to-1 K walk. Did he have 128 each? I didn't see his strikeouts. Was it seriously exactly 1-to-1? That's kind of cool. Let's go back. 128 Ks and 128 strikeouts. 300. So that was all even. 300 average. That's even. He was 100 in stolen bases. He had a 100% steal rate. 0 for or 6 for 6 in stolen bases. So as always, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Again, we will look for someone to raid into. If anyone's streaming, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, give what you can, take what you need. Thank you once again to Boiled Egg for the community gift subscription to Red Sixer Fan. It's a great day for baseball. Back on Thursday with the Hawk Report. I don't know who with. If any modelers are out there in the OOT community and want to be on stream with me on Thursday, reach out to me on Discord. Charles is unavailable. He's going to be up in the air flying out of the US. So again, thank you guys. Losing my voice. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next episode.